Let's now cross over live to the Bomas of Kenya, where the National Dialogue Committee is having a round table with the Ministry of Treasury and, of course, the State Department of Housing and the Ministry of Energy. And speaking now is CS Energy, Davis Churchill. Let's cross over live and listen.
Leaders of yesterday worked so hard to develop geothermal. And if I just give some numbers to appreciate that we are not in a bad place, Tanzania today is load shedding 10 hours every day. So 10 hours, you don't have power, not because it is a blackout. It's been switched off because there is not enough power in the country. Zambia, Malawi, South Africa are load shedding into 12, 14 hours per day. Again, because of the climate change issues affecting us. Even Ethiopia, who gives us 200 megawatts at very competitive pricing of 6 cents US through a PPA we signed some times back. We've signed for 200, they are not able to give us 200, they are giving us 100 because they don't have enough water. The floods in Marsabit that we saw in the last 3-4 days have helped them to put some water in the dams, and we are now seeing slight improvement on what they are able to give us. So because of that, honorable members, hydrology, even as we speak today, though I went to the year 2000, we've not seen good rains in the last 3-4 years. We don't have water. In the data, and I'll be happy to give a supplemental onto that report which we gave, we've been dispatching 0 megawatts from Masinga for the last 2 months. We don't have water in Masinga. Even with these rains, the eastern and Your Excellency Kalonzo, you may be aware that whereas we've seen in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks rains in the west of Kenya, we've not seen much rain in the east part of Kenya, though we are beginning to see water coming up now. At a height of a low of 1035 meters above sea level, we are only having 2 meters now after the rains have just come in, but we are still not dispatching. We are doing 0 out of Masinga today.
Yesterday, and I can tell you, it's beginning to fill up.
It's beginning to come up. You know, we've seen 3 meters today. Of today, we are 3 meters above 1035. So, honorable members, why am I going there? When we don't have water, which was predominantly the generator for Kenya, though geothermal has really been useful lately because I said as a base load it's not already doing 49%, we have to run the diesel. When you run the diesel, which I did give a background that it is dispatching at 70 shillings, it is dispatching at 50 shillings, you do expect the cost of power to go up. When Dr. Siror, the CEO for Kenya Power, spoke to the media the other day, he was like, would it be better not to have power at all to serve as a hospital or to have expensive power? It's not because we want to dispatch expensive power. If Masinga is at 0, even for you and me, you would go out and start your generator because it's better to have that expensive power than no power at all. So given the challenge of climate change and mitigation and actions that are ravaging, the whole world is talking about today, as Kenya, we are accelerating geothermal development. We just brought in an additional 35 megawatts in Menengai. We are bringing another 70 megawatts. We are drilling in Baka Silali. We are at 100 megawatts of steam, and we want to put in converters to get them into generate power as quickly as possible. And these come in geothermal today because of our knowledge and capacity and availability. Geothermal is available 24/7. The solar and the wind, which is talked about on climate change platform to save the world, is not available at night. Solar is not available. As we speak, at peak hour today, we need 2160 megawatts today, but we don't have enough power. We are currently load shedding, though quite small. So we really need to bring in the base load, and solar is not available at night. When it rains like it's raining now, the Lake Turkana 310 megawatts dispatches at 20%. Kipeto dispatches at very low percentage when it rains. I think when it rains, because of the vertical force of rain, the wind almost comes down to 0. And so we have a challenge, honorable members. We are on top of it. We are quickly and like the previous regimes working on geothermal to support our base loads. We're trying to now do hybridization so that we are able to store solar and wind when it is there because of intermittence, because the price of batteries have significantly come down today. Solar panels have come down. So we're trying to deploy in the current pricing cycle 23-27, we've got some 200 megawatts of battery storage system to store the solar when it is there and we don't need, because honorable chairs and members, the problem with this intermittent power, they come on a PPA framework called take or pay. When it is there, you must take it, otherwise you still pay. So why don't we store and then we use it when we need it? Because when it comes in what we call economic order merit of dispatch, they take priority number one. Whenever it comes, you take it, because if you don't take it, you still pay. So we then bring batteries to store that power and use it when we need it, because the price of technology for storage today has come down, and then basically be able to also reduce the intermittence and stabilize the grid. One other thing which we are doing, honorable members, and which should have been done yesterday, is to deconstrain some of the transmission systems. When I came in, we found, for example, let me use one, Takwel, Otum, Kitale network or line, not having capacity to transmit generation from Takwel. Because when we developed Selenkei, Sedet, and Alten, the solar power plants in the west of Rift, the transmission line capacity was not upgraded. And for the last 4 years, we are not transmitting, or we are not utilizing Takwel, which comes to the grid at 3 cents, 4 cents, because the transmission line is not able to carry both the solar from Alten, Selenkei, and Sedet, and carry the Takwel because of the order of merit of dispatch, take or pay. So what do? We carry the expensive power from solar, which is intermittent and not good for the grid, and the hydro is sitting idle because we do not put some investment of 300 million to complete the capacity of the line to evacuate that power. That is currently going on. We'll finish in maybe another 2 months. Similarly for Narok, Bomet, where the network to Olkaria has been built, the network from Bomet has been built all the way to Migori to support the tea factories in Bomet, Kericho, all the way to Awendo. And so we've got load shedding in Awendo, in Bomet, and Kericho in the evening. We don't have enough voltages. We are using Moroni 73 shillings power plant to support the voltages, because we have not built Narok Bomet to allow the Olkaria power to go all the way to Awendo. So again, we are currently having sourcing a contractor. We've got funding, and we'll get most of that cheap geothermal power to go all the way down to Migori County and service that western part of the country. And these are network issues that should have really been addressed in terms of getting the grid more stable and being able to offtake or to carry the kind of load, the kind of power that we need in those regions, in terms of managing demand and supply for the country. Honorable members, we are conscious. We are really working on the 2 areas in petroleum and energy, in the grid capacity, in generation, confirming and assuring ourselves that even as we go forward to generate new power, we should go to what you would call auction for licenses, so that they compete on prices of licensing as opposed to coming and negotiating privately in my office or in another office to generate power, when they can be, the auction process can be done in the open, and the best price IPP can take that license and generate power for us. Unfortunately, members, I must also say, power is not a quick fix. When we plan power today for the next 5 years, what we're doing is not for tomorrow. And so unless we do what we must do today.
Right, and those are live images from the Bomas of Kenya, where Energy CS Davis Chirchir is now speaking to the members of the National Dialogue Committee on the energy cost in the country and citing the global challenges as well as the war, for instance, in Israel and Ukraine. Of course, our team is on the ground for us and they'll be giving us details. Remember, the committee is meeting the Ministry of Treasury and that of Energy at the same time, and that's where we wrap it up right here at the KTN News Center. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Purity Musenzuki, and up next is an Ejiri with Hadia Masiwa. Keep it here.